Hey guys, it's Chris at Highline Guitars. You're watching another one of my YouTube guitar building videos. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I hope that by the end of this video, I'll have earned the honor and privilege of your subscription. Well, the 6-string multi-scale fan fret guitar is almost done. I said almost. I have a bad habit of sometimes forgetting certain key details. For example, the control cavity cover. And I'm going to make that in this episode. Also, I need to install the knobs and strap buttons. So that's probably what I'll cover in this episode. And then in the next episode, I'm going to do the final setup, which is going to include checking the frets to make sure they're level, crowning them, dressing them, polishing them, then stringing up the guitar, tuning it, intonating it, and getting it ready to call it done. So let's jump in and make that control cavity cover. All right, so the first thing I need to do is I need to mark the center point on each edge of this little blank I have. This is actually a piece of maple, and it's been sitting on my stack of lumber for a while, so I figured it's the right thickness, so this should work perfectly for making a control cavity cover. But I need to mark those center points so that I can line it up on my CNC machine. And this piece is just about 8 inches in length. It's actually 7 7/8. So I'll mark that. And then down at this edge, I'll do the same thing. Five and a quarter inches, so that's 2 5/8 inches. And I'm sorry if I'm doing this in imperial dimensions. That's just how I work. And I'll transfer those lines down the edge so that I can line it up with the lines that I have engraved on my CNC machine. That's how I center the item, the blank to a known location on the machine. So on the wasteboard, I have a line engraved right in the very center of the wasteboard going all the way to the back. Then I have another line which is about 18 inches from this front edge. And then I have another line that's right in the very center at 24 inches. But where these lines intersect, that point there, I know exactly how many inches that is from the lower left corner home position. So after I home the CNC machine, I simply jog it over 24 inches. And if I'm using this front line here, I jog it back 18 inches. And that's going to place the center of the spindle right over the very center of my workpiece once it's been positioned here. Then I can just jog it forward to this edge and then jog it over to this corner, and that's going to be the home position to start the carve. Okay, so the bit that I'm going to use is a 2-flute spiral upcut bit. And now I'm going to jog it over 24 inches to the center and then 18 inches back. Now what I have to do is probe the bit so that the machine will know exactly where the tip of the bit is in relation to the workpiece. Now what I need to do is I need to jog the spindle to the lower right corner, which is the start home position for the carve. And since the board is 5 inches wide and 8 inches long, I need to jog it, because remember the spindle is right over the very center, so I have to jog it forward 4 inches. Then I have to jog it to the left 2.5 inches. Now it's in the home position and I'm ready to begin the carve. That's a perfect fit. So let's get some finish on this and we'll be done. Okay, so the die that I'm going to use to finish this little control cavity cover is the same die that I used on the body of the guitar, which is kind of that red color, sort of a reddish brown. So we'll see how that looks. It should look a little bit different than the body because the body is that Philippine mahogany, whereas the control cavity cover is a lightly flamed maple. There, see, there's a little bit of flame in there. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. Now I'll let this dry for about an hour. Then I'm going to apply some polymerized tung oil sealer. This is from Sutherland Wells, and I'm going to use this just to seal it, and I'll let it sit overnight, and then tomorrow I'll apply just the regular high luster tung oil. Okay, so now I'm going to apply the sealer. And I'm using, it's these Scott paint and stain cloths. And it says lint free. I don't know how true that is, but one thing I like to do is to try to fold it up so that the edges are inside, because that's where you get all your lint. I mean, you can get lint anywhere on the surface, but this minimizes it. And I'm just going to apply this by wiping it on. Now I'm going to do both sides because this wood will absorb moisture over time. And this piece is so thin, and right now it's perfectly flat. But I know that with exposure to moisture, it could warp. So I just want to make sure I put a good coating on here, and I'm going to do that same thing later on when I apply the high luster polymerized tung oil. It's important to know though that even applying sealer is not a guarantee that it's not going to absorb moisture later on. It will reduce that potential, but it's not a guarantee. And then I like to use these little pointy things. Don't ask me where I got these because I don't remember. But it allows me to support it when I've applied finish to both sides. So I'll let that sealer soak in, and I'm going to let it dry. And it's going to take probably 6 to 8 hours to dry. So I can either wait till tomorrow morning. It's morning right now, so I could wait till probably 7, 8 o'clock tonight and apply the tung oil, the high luster tung oil. So that's probably what I'll do. That way I can get this done quicker. Okay, now let's not forget about proper disposal of oil-soaked rags. You don't want to crumple them up. You don't want to bunch them up with other rags. What you want to do is just lay them out on the floor and let them dry completely. And then I'm going to put them into a container that's filled with water. And that's how I dispose of the rags. The last thing I want to have happen is an oil-soaked rag to burn down my workshop, because my workshop's in my garage. My garage is part of my house, and I don't want to lose everything. Okay, so the sealer is dry. It's been sitting here for about 16, 18 hours. So now I'm going to start applying the polymerized high luster tung oil. And with this product, you can apply a minimum of 1 coat, obviously. But the more coats that you apply, the glossier the sheen. So you'll apply it, let it dry, check it and see what the sheen looks like, and then continue until you get the level of sheen that you want. Now, I really don't care too much about the sheen on my control cavity cover. I don't care if it's glossy or if it's matte. I just want to get a couple of coats on there just as a way to protect the wood and the stain that I applied. I mean, even though I applied the sealer initially, I want the tung oil, which is a little bit thicker, to do a better job of protecting the surface. And I don't really care if it's got a high gloss shine. The guitar itself has a high gloss shine on the body, but I like a little bit of contrast between the control cavity cover and the the body itself. So if it's got a matte sheen to it, I'm fine with that. So I'll just make sure I get a good application of the oil. And I'm only going to do the top surface. I don't care about the back side of it. It's been sealed and it doesn't need any additional finish on it. But what I'll do is I'll let that sit for probably another 6 to 8 hours, at which time I'll be ready to install it on the guitar and close off that control cavity. All right, now I'm ready to screw this bad boy on. Okay, well, I've got the control cavity cover finished and installed. So really the next thing to do is to revisit the frets, because at this stage all I've done is the initial leveling. So what I want to do is I want to take the strings off, crown and polish the frets, maybe do a little bit of dressing on the ends. And I'm going to do that in the next episode. And I think after that, this guitar is going to be finished. So I hope that you'll stick around and keep watching these videos as I finish them off and get this guitar done. So as always, if you've enjoyed this video, got anything out of it, give it a thumbs up. That really helps. Click it right now. You'll be doing me a big favor and supporting my channel without having to spend any money. And of course, if you want to take your support to the next level, you can visit my eGuitar Plans website or my Highline Guitars YouTube merch store. And there you can purchase plans for building guitars, the tools that we use to make guitars, t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, that kind of thing. And anything that you spend is going to help support this channel so that I can keep making guitars and sharing my experiences and my knowledge with you. And if you want to keep your support really simple, you can just click the thanks button down below and leave a tip in the amount that you think is fair. In fact, if you've got a question about guitar building and you really want me to answer it, you can leave a tip and include a question with it, and I promise you I'll answer it. So as always, take care, stay safe, and I hope you'll be back for more guitar building videos.